Even Congo DR, they were in the semi-final of the last Nations Cup.
Yeah.
We've got some good players in the EPL, in Europe. The same thing with the Indomitable Lions. We saw Vincent Abubakar, for Porto demolish, part of the team that demolished Chelsea in the UEFA Champions League. So I think it's a very, very big test for Nigeria. If we are able to get a decent result or play very well, then we will now begin to say perhaps Olise is gradually getting his rhythm. Because when you play against Congo DR and play against Cameroon, your defense will be put under scrutiny. The midfield and the attack, to also we'll see how they are going to fare. So I think kudos to the Nigerian Football Federation for this team. Some people criticized the choice of Niger Republic the last time, but now I don't think they will have any problem with Congo DR and Indomitable Lions of Cameroon.
So maybe why not Ghana? Ghana. But yeah, I was just listening to Hoyiwuchi. With Congo DR and Cameroon, you expect a very physical game. Yeah. Maybe that's one of the reasons why the guys at West Ham looked at it and said, these guys may just start kicking Victor and something will go wrong.
It's possible. A lot of scenarios.
Yeah.
What Hoyiwuchi just give us is a scenario. A lot other scenarios. Like you said, precautionary. You get into any game against Cameroon, it's going to be physical. So, but then again, if you look at it, put these games in context. I think it's very in context. Rather, I think it's very good for the Super Eagles. It leaves the technical crew with no ideal place. You play these games, then we know what to expect. I mean, you have all your best players. That's why I particularly said like someone. I know what Victor Moses can offer if he's there. So. Probably you will not come and tell us if I had one or two players who could have changed. And if and what if doesn't count in football. It's what you do on the day that counts.
That's what it is.
But then again, I'm still going to wait. Cameroon is just like Ghana. Even when they are not doing well, if it's Nigeria, they'll step up.
It's a World Cup final.
Something else can happen.
That's it.
I mean, I'm interested in this. I want to see this. And somehow, I'm happy it's competitive. But the consequence of losing this game is not huge. National pride, at stake. But I would like to have this before Egypt.
That's it.
So I'm going to have an idea what's going to happen when we play Egypt. Then, after those two games, nobody will say it is unfair to assess Coach Sunday Olise.
So that's it. You also saw goalkeeper Kali Keme during one of the training sessions with goalkeeper coach Alon Agu. Recent form has been good for Kali Keme. Let's see if he can actually continue in that fine form. Guys, let's leave national team football now. Talk about the CAF Champions League. No Nigerian team in that one, not even in the CAF Confederation Cup. But Hoyiwuchi, it has been fireworks from start to finish.
Well, when you look at the pedigree of the teams in the semi-final, you don't expect anything less. USM Algiers, a traditional team on the continent, Eyimba once played them in 2003 when they won en route to winning the Champions League. El Hilal, got some Nigerian players, a well-packaged team. They pay very well, got good infrastructures. Holding USM Algiers goalless in Algiers and qualifying, and USM Algiers qualifying 2-1 on aggregate. TP Mazembe, wow.
Look at that. Just look at that.
Very good turnaround. Good turnaround.
What are you going to say about this team? You got some national team players from Ghana, from Tanzania, from Zambia in their team.
4 key players on the Zambian team used to play for TP Mazembe.
So you don't expect anything less from them. And the money they have even made, from this tournament, they have used it to build a stadium for themselves.
That's what it is.
So I think our clubs need to borrow, whether a leaf or some leaves from some of these teams.
Some leaves
from some of these teams playing.
The quantity.
You need to. Playing at this level is not by happenstance or by lottery.
Yeah.
You need to
do work a lot to get to that point.
Look at the bench of the two teams. When I watch TP Mazembe against their opponents, you look at the bench, you look at the quality of the coaches, you look at the players. They are well motivated. You don't go to a big tournament and you are thinking about unpaid salaries, maybe 5-10 months. How are you going to?
When you see TP Mazembe and somebody is telling you, African football is struggling, you say go and look at TP Mazembe.
Yeah.
You say go and look at Al Ali. Go and look at
Sudan.
Go and look at
there's an Angolan club that pays top dollar for players. Tresor Putu, I used to play for TP Mazembe. I forgot the name of the Angolan club. Went to that club. So there are some clubs in Africa that are doing things well.
And all they said to themselves, let's make welfare top notch. Take care of our players.
TP Mazembe had problems 2-3 years down the line. They dropped down to the CAF Confederations Cup. And I always tell people that they know this is not where they belong. They had problems and they were fined at some point, suspended, 1 or 2 issues came up. But look at them now. They're in the final. They're playing USM.
Also, when you beat your opponent in the semi-finals like this, have a massive turnaround to win 4-2 on aggregate.
Also, in 2009, when TP Mazembe played Heartland of Owerri in the final of the CAF Champions League, I made a comparative analysis of how much they spent. They spent almost the same thing, but with the money that TP Mazembe had, they got a foreign coach.
Yeah.
They paid their players. They didn't owe their players. They paid their players some $5,000, some $10,000. And they even went on a foreign tour. But Heartland spent almost the same amount, and players were being owed. At the time, they almost got stranded at the airport. So it also shows the way we manage our clubs, and the argument that the government should enhance clubs management.
Yeah.
So because this club is a privately owned club.
Yeah.
Well run.
Yeah.
They got some sponsors and decent players.
The message: administrators of football in Nigeria, look at TP Mazembe, look at Al Hilal, look at Orlando Pirates, Kaiser Chiefs. Don't go and start looking at Arsenal. No. That's a long dream. Look, in Africa, people are getting it right. I need to get it right. Yeah, the Orlando Pirates are getting it right. Yeah. And they're already in the final of the CAF Confederations Cup.
I learned a lesson yesterday. There were 2 goals down, and I was telling my wife, look, these guys have just disappointed me. Actually, I love Kaiser Chiefs. I must say that. But I wanted the South African team to be in the final. So I was watching the game. There were 2 goals down. I just
the fight when it was 2-0.
I switched off.
Oh, I kept watching.
Only for me to get to hear that they won 4-3, giving them a 5-3 aggregate victory over defending champions Al Ahly. It was surprising, and that's it on your screen. 5-3 on aggregate. The Buccaneers proceeded to the final. Very, very, very good one. Well, Zamalek, we knew that it was almost impossible. They conceded too many goals in the first leg. 5-1, he ended. Scored 3 goals. Probably needed just 1 more. Yeah. But they messed it up in the first leg.
When you're playing 2-legged football, first leg very, very important.
It was 5-1 in the first leg. And that's a confirmation. Orlando Pirates take on the Tour de Sahel in the final. South Africa against Tunisia. We'll see how that. For sentimental reasons, I'm putting all my support.
But when it's national team now,
no.
There's no way you talk about South
you look
Africa.
at the South African league and you see stuff and you keep asking, are these not the same players in the Bafana? How come we beat them easily? How come they're not translating?
Yeah.
But something keeps telling me it's a matter of time. These guys will see.
They're already showing Nigeria
it's a matter
tough
of time.
Yeah, they're already showing us tough times. So with this one now, South Africa and Orlando Pirates, they can dare to dream.
Yeah, Austin. Orlando Pirates has shown consistency. Last year too, they did very well, losing narrowly in the final of the Continental Championship, and this year they are in the final. And they did that in style, going to Egypt. Although when you look at the game, you think that El Ahly have themselves to blame because it was horrendous defending.
2 goals up.
2 goals, horrendous defending.
That's what a good fight with character can do to you.
And you give the South African, the team from South Africa, Orlando Pirates, they were ceaseless in the attack. They didn't give up. They kept on attacking
running forward,
and they got reward for that. Against Etoile du Sahel, Etoile du Sahel could be a tougher opponent than El Hilal. Because they've got some decent team, and in Tunisia, in Sousse, where they are based, it's not an easy place to go and play. Because Enyimba have been there before, so it's a couple of
it's
clubs. With the Etoile du Sahel, good history going for them also.
Yes. So I'm just hoping, from a neutral perspective, you will be tempted to say the best teams in both competitions got to the final. And we're going to have a fitting showpiece on the continent, but we'll wait and see. But like I said, sentimental reasons, I want to see Orlando Pirates too.
No sentimental reasons here. Let's the best team go on to win. So let's leave that now. Talk about issues These next two guys want to talk about clouded with issues. These guys will help me say the one that will actually come out of it first. Jose Mourinho. We don't know where we're going to start with him. But first, I mean, you made a good